In the name of Jesus, get this wicked board out of here. In Jesus' name, amen. How do you want your money? The Oklahoma coalition coming in, we're straight it out. But I know y'all don't want that because the racketeering and stuff you got going on. Well, you understand. Some of you now, not all of you, y'all don't have the power. Some of you don't have the power, but we know that y'all, dishonest, fraudulent, perpetuated through stupidity. And that's just how I call it. We all have our own opinions on it.
Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock, and I'd like to call to order the November 15th meeting of the Criminal Justice Authority meeting, our regular meeting. And before we call the roll, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Loretta Radford to the board. She was recently appointed by the commissioners. Thank you for being here. And with that, we have the roll call.
Tommy Johnson.
Present.
Loretta Radford. Present. Sue Ann Arnall. Present. Chad Alexander.
Present.
Ben Brown.
Here.
Kevin Calvey.
Present.
M.T. Berry.
Present.
Joe Albaugh.
Yes, ma'am.
And Jim Couch.
Present. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is public comment. A number of people have signed up. I'd ask you to hold your comments to 3 minutes. The first person is Michael Washington.
Hallelujah. Praise God. Let's everybody give himself a handshake here. Now then, by the way, y'all permit me while y'all listen to me when I'm back to you. Now then. Greetings, everyone here today. That's right, you're looking at him. The man, the guy, the person who's going to bring this travesty of justice down to its knees. Straight up. Bottom line. We're supposed to be a people of the United States, government of democracy, of constitutional mandates, statutory rules, and regulations. The Oklahoma County Criminal Justice Authority behind me, I briefly recognize and no longer do momentarily, was appointed by the Oklahoma County Commissioner, a municipality here in the state of Oklahoma, appointed by that group to now operate the Oklahoma County Detention Center. Words deliberately misspelled by reason. Replacing the duty of once upon a time that once belonged to the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Department. Since this wicked, no good group behind me have been the jail's administrators, things have gone from worse to worse, from bad to bad, corrupt to more corrupt, and I don't mean maybe. This racketeering group behind me, in cahoots with their cohorts, have an agenda that's perpetrated, wicked, and designed to rob the people of their finances. Yes, right. You county commissioner, you're nothing but a belly of thieves and wolves, racketeers, you're dishonest, fraudulent, and no good. This group again behind me is nothing but a pawn in the game for the rhetoric and diplomacy of evil and wickedness that's being perpetrated here in the United States of America through its manipulative court and administrative procedures here. Minute and 6 seconds. Y'all speed me up a little bit. I've said it once. I'll say it again. I'll say it many, many, many more times that I mean business. You don't like it? Instead of talking to you about it. Don't give a damn about your friends. Give a damn about who you know. How many people you have in business. How tall you are, short you are. I'll stand on my principle and foundation and will drop you to your knees if you come before God, because God runs this, my people. Now, then listen quietly while I continue. I've said it again. I mean business. My organization, Oklahoma Coalition Against People Abuse, we will stand firmly on our feet and hold your people's feet to the fire of accountability. We will bring you back down to the earth where you will be met with a rude awakening that will hopefully trigger and promoting an outlook of great simplicity for your lives. Because obviously you people need it here. I've extended this few more seconds that I have left to you to let you know I do recognize you to that extent. And I'll say to you, hasta la vista, baby, because the lawsuit will be filed shortly. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Next up is Christine Bird. All right. Next up is Mark Falk.
Good afternoon. So here we are again. Today we're here to speak about the proposed contract with Oklahoma City to house prisoners, inmates, detainees, whatever you prefer to call them, at the county jail. First of all, we believe that this is an illegal contract. We absolutely believe that you cannot do a retroactive contract. You cannot say, we're going to sign a contract in November that applies all the way back to the 1st of July. We ask you to be moral. We ask you to be ethical. We ask you to be honest. But above all, we ask you to be lawful and constitutional. We also believe that at this point, the Jail Trust, who has many, many times said that your goal is to reduce the population and create a constitutional environment and a humane environment for those in that county jail, have the opportunity to continue to reduce the population in that jail by not renewing a contract with Oklahoma City. We do not need more low-level people who often it's an expired license tag or unpaid fines or a warrant for unable to pay for some type of minor infraction. By signing this, you put those people in a situation where, because of, frankly, the negligence of this board, the lack of supervision, the lack of management, the lack of oversight, the lack of compassion, we put them into a situation where they could die. We believe that you need to do the right thing. Oklahoma City does not have a city jail, but it is high time that they did. Tulsa has one and reduced all of those things. They get people in and out of the jail quicker. They reduce the booking time for the police officers who bring them in. They they get them into diversion centers quicker. They are doing the right thing. Edmond, Midwest City, Dale City, other communities have their own city jails. It is time that Oklahoma City does that, and it is time that this jail trust does the right thing. What we are tired of is not just that we don't like your decisions. It's that we don't like your total disregard for humanity and your total disregard for the Constitution of this state, the United States. And that's it. We want to see you be humane. We want to see you do the right thing, and we want to see you begin to look towards the people who are in there and do the right thing for them instead of selling out to the almighty dollar. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Falk. Sean Cummings.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, a couple of just housekeeping details before we get started. I was looking over the contract with the city of Oklahoma City. If I remember from contract law, you have to have two sane, equal parties involved. You guys, are you claiming that the jail is constitutional, like it's clean, safe, habitable? Because you're getting into a contract with the city of Oklahoma City, and you're claiming your hotel is. However, the health department says your hotel is not. So is this a legal contract? Now, you're also saying that you're going to get city employees or city detainees in and out within 10 to 12 hours. Eighth Amendment of the United States Constitution is equal justice under the law. You can't give the city anything better than you give anybody else. That's illegal. 8th Amendment of the Constitution. You cannot do this. Now, $53.12 a day is what you're charging the city. I think you've realized you're in the jail hotel business and you need to compete with Midwest City, who offers a better facility where people don't die. Now, the city of Oklahoma City, Jim, where you came from, should not be signing a contract with a jail that is incapable of keeping their people safe. Literally incapable. That's negligence. That's gross negligence. And you don't get to get a buy on that because you're a city employee when there is a safer jail away in Midwest City. So literally, this contract is illegal from the start on 3 different levels, and enough of you up here are attorneys to know that. You don't need a bartender to come and tell you that. So we got to start taking this serious if you really want to do it. Otherwise, you're the ones jumping down the rabbit hole, and you're the ones being investigated. So if you're going to continue to violate U.S. constitutional law, you can't complain when people investigate you.
Thank you. Christopher Johnson.
Thank you all so much. First of all, I want to submit this for the record. This is the National Institute of Corrections operational assessment, the document you guys have sat on since May, which is illegal. Just for you guys, we have that. This document, this contract, it says on section 6, E, upon termination of this contract, the city shall remove all city prisoners no later than 24 hours from the effective date of the termination. So since this is a place that is violating the Constitution, this contract is garbage. All Oklahoma City prisoners need to go home within 24 hours. It says it right here. Go ahead and play around and break the law like sitting on this document. If we got it, we're very loud, and a lot of people are going to have this as well. So here's some statistics. When we had the sheriff's office in charge from 1999 to 2019, on an average, we had around 2,500 people that were there. Fluctuated. We all know this. We have now 1,600 to 1,700. We lost 6 to 7 human beings per year. That was the statistical average. We now lose 12. Less population, more people dying, and the math is showing that the number is going to either stay at homeostasis or it's going to uptick. So don't buy into the propaganda. You guys are the Criminal Justice Authority. It's in your name. There is this misconception that D.A. Prater and Judge Ray Elliott, whom are very problematic people, they're somehow the Legion of Doom, and they control everything. Everything. I'm talking they go in and make sure that the shifts are being run at the jail. That's what we get told. We talk about we need justice reform. We always get told by you, activists who are lobbyists now, that you have to go to the 5th floor instead of doing something here. You guys have the authority to exert your power. We know you rigged the ICE votes. If we got this, we know a lot of stuff. So one could deduce that we are not going to stop. Okay? So let's get to the brass tacks here. There's only 2 things that need to happen now, since we got you on this federal document and various others, that you need to get the Department of Justice in here right now. I don't care. Get the DOJ in here right now. Get the federal government who knows how to run things, do it. Get them in here now, and then immediately turn to your indenture where you only need 5 votes. The only thing you need 5 votes for to dissolve this jail trust immediately. Or we can play this the long way. I will outlive many of you, and I will drag you into court to your dying days if I need to.
Get talking to him.
Who wants to carry this up there to where you guys can look?
Great, I'll get to her later. Nadette Cummings.
Time that's not expired. No rules say we can't do that. If they have 3 seconds up, I want it. They have 8 seconds, I like it. So I ain't seen nothing in policy written saying I can't do it. It's still their time. They just end it early.
Ms. Cummings.
Afternoon, everyone. I am a little upset because I read also about you all's contract. My problem with that is, no, it's not true. I've seen close hand with certain things that has gone on at the county. I'm down there quite a bit, maybe 4 times a week, sometimes 5 times. I've seen where there have been 3 people in a cell, and within that 3 people, someone gets hurt. You send them out, you tell them you're gonna fix them. They don't file charges. But if someone else another detainee does something, you're gonna file. That doesn't make sense to me. Constitutional, I don't know what that means. If you mean we're gonna do what's right, then that's different. But that's not what I'm seeing happen. I saw a quadriplegic. I didn't actually see him. I got a call. He sat in his feces for over 45 minutes. I also had to call 911 on another detainee who was having a seizure, and by the end of the call, he was already being maced and taken up to the 13th floor. So these are things that I actually have witnessed over the phone through other detainees. My problem is these people have not been convicted yet. They may be guilty, they may not be guilty. The problem is, what are we doing in the meantime? Just because they're in there doesn't mean they have done what you say they have done or what I have thought they have done. We need to do better about what we're doing. These are not animals. I've said that before, and I'm saying it again. We need to be a little more considerate, because the shoe could be on our foot also. I could be down there, and I know that I am not capable of doing some of the things that you all are letting these people do. I understand they are just employees, but why are we letting just employees commit crimes and we okay with it? That is not how we're supposed to operate. I know there is a legal system and we should follow it. You say, let's let the system work for us. How's it gonna work for us when it's not working for us? That's unfair. That is totally unfair. And I think we, as the people who we stand to say we are, let's show them that we are who we say we are. Let's stand up for what's right and not what's wrong. That's unfair. That's totally unfair. When you say that you can do something and you deny someone because you decide, oh, they may commit something or do something, well, hell, they're doing it in the damn jail any damn way. What are we doing here? That's not how we're supposed to live. I go behind and I sit with you all, and I do everything but what I'm supposed to do. You're going to get rid of me. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I heard it.
Sarah Bana?
Chairman, Miss Christine Bird is back. If it's okay, I'd like for her to make her comments, or would she be able to speak after me?
She'll be able to speak after you.
Awesome. Thank you. I just want to inform you guys, I just mailed off 3 large packets of evidence against the unconstitutional patterns and practices of the county jail to the Department of Justice. Our hope is that they will intervene. We do have an immediate resolution, which is you dissolve yourself and transfer the authority of the operations to the county sheriff, who's a lot more equipped to care for that county jail. Prior to doing anything else, sir, I would like to submit this to be placed on record and embedded in totality so that the general public and the media can get the confirmation that they need from the National Institute of Corrections that confirm the ongoing patterns and practices of unconstitutionality inside, including the fact that Turnkey Medical does not have an operational policy, that these folks didn't have an operational policy. That is why we are having so many people unnecessarily die and people escaping from the county jail. Beyond that, in this contract with Oklahoma City, you allege that you can provide constitutional conditions in the jail. That is fraudulent. That is false. Half of you on this board are attorneys. Where's John Michael Williams, the most unethical attorney in the entire state of Oklahoma? I'm going to file a bar complaint against him, because when you promote or even attempt to sign a contract that states fraudulent promises, this is called fraud. It's called a scam, right? No one in this room can truthfully say that the conditions inside the county jail today meet the standards of the federal, state, and constitutional norms. How dare you continue to overcrowd the facility by the largest police department with the largest municipal police budget? And you, of all people, Jim Couch, as the former city attorney of Oklahoma City, know that for decades you have been pipelining Oklahomans, residents of Oklahoma City, unnecessarily for petty, nonviolent municipal offenses. This is the types of programs we're talking about. This is the cite and release policy that could be implemented today that would reduce the jail's population. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have a 20 second, 19 second?
Christine
And
Bird.
can we get this on the record? As a matter of business, this needs to be submitted in your record so that we, the people, know that you've seen a copy of this. Have you seen this?
Thank you.
We need this submitted into the record. If you don't want it, I'll hand it to the next media personality interested in looking at it.
Thank you. Christine Bird.
Good afternoon. I debated about coming here because I wanted to go back to my community and try to tell them the truth of what was going on. But I knew that if I went back and told them what is going on in this room, the shame and the embarrassment that all of you are carrying right now. If an individual is charged with a crime and they make a payment plan with the city or the county, and they break that payment plan, a warrant is issued for their arrest. I'm saying that because I'm trying to understand how you let a contract run out in June. This is December, and that by law, every one of you need to be arrested because you made an agreement, you made a contract, and you did not live up to it. So the same place you're trying to build another one at, you need to be housed at because you broke the law. So I am ashamed of you as my official, elected, appointed, some just by hocus pocus, speaking for the people of Oklahoma County. I dare you speak for us when you don't even know what we need. You don't know criminal justice reform because if you did, Oklahoma City folks that are in the county on municipal charges, tickets would not be there. If you knew criminal justice reform and you wanted to rehabilitate folks, then you wouldn't be talking about building another county jail. You would be talking about mental health facilities that would take care of mental health patients. You would talk about programs that would reintroduce folks back into society. You're talking about housing folks to keep other folks in jobs. It needs to end. It needs to stop. And if you're not willing to stop it, then you need to step down because we need people that will speak truth to power. And obviously, that's not you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is consent docket. There are 3 items, or the minutes of the October 19th meeting, invoices and claims, and the income statement and financial report. Are there any items on the consent docket that any trustees would like pulled? If not, is there a motion for approval?
Move adoption.
Motion? Second?
Tommy Johnson,
Yes.
Loretta Radford, Sue Ann Arnold, Chad Alexander,
Yes.
Ben Brown,
Yes.
Kevin Calvey,
Yes.
NC Berry,
Yes.
and Joe Alba,
Yes, ma'am.
Jim Couch.
Yes.
9-0.
Motion passes. Item 5 are contracts for approval. Item 5A is a contract with the City of Oklahoma City for detainee detention and boarding services. Motion and a second for approval.
Tommy Johnson,
Well, hang on, a little quick. Are there any questions or comments regarding this agreement? This has been negotiated with the city over the last several months. The attorneys have signed off as it to be legal. Okay.
Johnson,
Yes.
Loretta Radford, Sue Ann Arnold, Chad Alexander,
Yes.
Ben Brown,
Yes.
Kevin Calvey,
Yes.
M.T. Berry,
Yes.
Joe Albaugh,
Yes, ma'am.
Jim Couch.
Yes.
9-0.
Motion passes. Item 6 is to consider and approve the 2020 or the 2022 schedule of Oklahoma County Criminal Justice Attorney meeting. There are two schedules on the agenda. Item A would be for meetings on the third Monday of the month, which is what our present operation is. The second, item B, is for the first meeting of the month. The reason the second is on there is because I have a standing conflict for every quarter with a board I'm on, and I would prefer if we move to a first meeting of the month, but that's up to the board's decision to do so.
I would go ahead and move that.
And how can you people even lay to sleep at night?
Item B there.
Absurdity.
To accommodate Chairman Couch.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for item 6B. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Tommy Johnson,
Yes.
Loretta Radford, Sue Ann Arnold, Chad Alexander,
Yes.
Ben Brown,
Yes.
Kevin Calvey,
Yes.
M.T. Berry,
Yes.
Joe Albaugh,
Yes, ma'am.
Jim Couch.
Yes.
9-0 for vote B.
Thank you. Item 7 is consideration and approve Oklahoma County Criminal Justice Fiscal Year 2021 operating budget. Mark McCubbin, could you come up and talk to us for a minute?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Attached to your agenda is the proposed operating budget for the fiscal year we're currently in. It started on July 1st, and it contains actual figures for the months of July, August, and September, and then projected budget numbers for the balance of the year. And I'm going to speak just to some highlights. There are a lot of numbers in there, and there are the first 2 pages are notes and assumptions, but I'm going to touch, kind of painting with a broad brush and touch on some of the highlights of the budget. Our total income for the year is projected to be just over $42 million. Of that amount, that includes a surplus from the carryover from last year of about $4.5 million, which is not strictly speaking income in this fiscal year, but it's on this document just to show that we will be using the carryover from last year to fund jail operations in this fiscal year. As always, the funds we receive from the general fund of Oklahoma County, that represents the largest source of income for the jail, and our budget from the county was held flat to last year, and we expect to receive $32.4 million from the Oklahoma County General Fund this year. Other meaningful sources of income are the phone contract with GTL and Telmate, and commissary income from our commissary provider, Keefe. The Department of Corrections reimburses us $27 a day for detainees held at the jail awaiting transfer to DOC facilities. The budget in front of you assumes an average of 160 DOC inmates a day, where current average is about 200. That is significantly down from last year. Last year, our average DOC population was 250 or more, and so we expect in this fiscal year the overall reimbursement from DOC to be down somewhere around $800,000 or $900,000 from the prior year. Likewise, we have boarding contracts with several municipalities in the area, largest one, of course, being our contract with the city of Oklahoma City. And as with DOC, revenue from city boarding contracts is also expected to be down this year by $500,000 or $600,000, and most of that being the difference, being the change with the contract with the city of Oklahoma City, which was just approved. Looking at expenses, personnel costs, as you would expect, are the largest expense item, just over half of our total budget. Personnel, wages, and benefits, salaries, wages, and benefits will be about $22.3 million this year. We're budgeting for 350 full-time employees in this fiscal year, and we're tracking right about at that number. Our second largest expense is medical care for detainees. That's going to be we project right around $9 million this year. On-site medical care from turnkey, off-site medical care for detainees who are hospitalized, and also prescription medicine for our detainees. That's just over 20% of our total expenses, medical care for detainees. Daily food service provided by Summit is budgeted at just over $2 million this year. Around 6,000 meals are served every day at the Oklahoma County Detention Center. So as you think about the operating costs of the jail, one way to look at it is 80% of our costs, of our operating costs, are staff to operate the jail, medical care for detainees, and food service for detainees. That represents about 80% of our overall costs. Other significant operating costs are $1.2 million for utilities. That is expected to be down last year due to the installation of the water management system last year, which is saving us considerable amount of money. And just over $1 million for insurance coverage of various kinds, workers' comp, liability coverage of various types, contents coverage. We have budgeted in the budget on page 3 are 2 significant capital projects this fiscal year. One is the continued lock replacement by Willow Lock. That's an ongoing project. It was funded last year, approved last year, and funded last year in the amount of $923,000, and that project is expected to be completed by year end, by calendar year end. And the second is the replacement of the old and outdated jail control system. The vendor is Sedaptic. This board approved that contract several months ago. They're on site. Work is progressing, and they're hard at work at it. And that too should be done by year end, by the end of December. There are still numerous repair and replacement projects at the jail that need attention, various maintenance upgrades throughout the facility, IT needs as well. Our staff met last week to review those, and an updated list with priorities and timelines should be ready soon for your review by the next meeting. This budget, wrapping it all up, this budget projects an operating surplus of just under $250,000, which is a considerably tighter budget than last year, but management believes it's one that we can live within. If there are questions, I'd be happy to answer them either now or at any time in the future.
Any questions for Mr. McCubbin? Does a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion for approval? I believe we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Johnson,
Yes.
Loretta Radford, Sue Ann Arnold, Chad Alexander,
Yes.
Ben Brown,
Yes.
Kevin Calvi,
Yes.
M.T. Berry,
Yes.
Joe Alba,
Yes, ma'am.
Jim Couch.
Yes.
9-0.
Thank you. Item 8 is a presentation and discussion regarding the bail project and its impact on criminal justice. Great. Thank you for being here today.
Great. Yeah, well, thank you all for having us and allowing us to present. My name's Jose. I'm from Oklahoma City. I've been living here, basically, live in the South Side. Yeah.
My name is Hannah Meadows. I also work for the Bail Project. And
You may want to pull that down a little closer.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we're just going to present on the Bail Project Oklahoma City site.
Yeah, so the Bail Project is a national nonprofit that posts bail for people free of charge. Essentially, what we do is, we pay bail for people in need. We do this by doing a revolving bail fund. So meaning, for example, usually all our donations are recycled. So it maximizes the amount of people we can help. It maximizes the value of a person's donation. That way we're able to use it about 2 to 3 times per year. But yes, and of course that is because if a client goes to court, completes their case, and doesn't miss any court date or finishes their case, we get that bail fund, that bail money back at the end of the case, and then we just reuse it for the next client. So paying for bail for someone in need disrupts a system that criminalizes race and poverty. So basically, yeah, over the next 5 years, the Bail Project will scale and immediate relief efforts to dozens of high-need jurisdictions throughout the country, and secure freedom for tens of thousands of people while demonstrating that our model for community release with support offers an effective alternative to unaffordable cash bail. Yeah. So basically, this is how we work. Yeah. So we connect people. So we work with public defenders across the nation. We work with community-based organizations to identify people that are in need of bail support, bail assistance, and can afford it. And then we also research jail websites to find people trapped that cannot afford cash bail. After interviewing clients, we confirm that they have good contact information and that we can ensure a support release plan. And then after that, we pay bail for those who are eligible. After we pay bail, we develop a supporting strategy to ensure that they can come back to court and engage with the legal process in a meaningful way. We send out court reminders. So we will send automatic text messages to all our clients with court reminders, and we also ourselves call them and make sure that they know when court is, and if they have transportation or if they need transportation, we provide transportation. We also connect them to advocacy and support. So we connect clients to voluntary services that provide support, including transportation, like I mentioned, and also any other kind of support. Working alongside with different partners and local organizations and also local standing systems that are there for them. And then we also use the story and data. So we always gather all the data that we can because we want to elevate our clients' experiences throughout storytelling and collect all the data to support advocacy to foster public understanding for the need of bail reform. So we've paid over 17,000 bailouts for people to date, and that's across the nation. For Oklahoma, year to date is about 130 that we've paid for since January. The Bail Project consists of a central support office, and it's also growing a network of community-based teams. So the map, as you see, it has kind of all the sites that we have or all the partner sites that we have across the country.
So data strategy. Our data strategy is focused on collecting and utilizing data regularly to assess short-term measures of operational efficiency and program success so that we can constantly improve our operations and model. Building a comprehensive data set that can inform pretrial reform by demonstrating the following narratives. Return to court. People released pretrial will return to court without A, putting up any of their own money for bail, and B, any burdensome conditions of release. Public safety. People released pre-trial without burdensome conditions will not pose any increased threat to public safety. Case outcomes. Pre-trial release without burdensome conditions creates fairer case outcomes and better life outcomes for individuals than current leading alternatives. Cost-effective. Pre-trial release without burdensome conditions is more cost-effective for jurisdictions than the current leading alternatives. We build local partners at every site by developing networks during prospecting and hiring local community leaders. We are already connected to the strategic players in the criminal legal landscape. We partner with public defenders' offices. That refer clients to us and provide ongoing legal support. So we do have an office here in the Oklahoma County Public Defender's Office. We work along with assistant public defenders every day with our clients. Social service providers that we can refer our clients to in order to provide supportive services such as housing or healthcare. This would include Diversion Hub, Hope, North Care, service providers like that. Advocacy coalitions to develop and implement a vision for a humane and just pretrial system. Public officials who are committed to driving administrative changes or passing legislation for bail reform. Media organizations that want to share stories about our work to local or national audiences, and local funders who are committed to supporting our work on the ground and investing in a pretrial reform. So here's how to contact us. We ask if you have any additional questions or would like to discuss how you would maybe want to partner with us, that you either reach out by phone or email, which is provided there. And we have time, I think, for any questions you may have.
Well, first of all, thank you for coming down today. And then secondly, thank you for the work that you're doing. You really do make a difference, and what you do is invaluable. Do the trustees have any comments or questions?
I have a couple of questions. First of all, the comment, thanks for what you're doing. I mean, I think it's a good program and alternative. Have you noticed an issue? I've had this, and again, this is not within the power of the trustees, not within the power of the county commissioners and all that, but I've been informed that sometimes it takes a long time in Oklahoma County for people to get charged with crimes. And therefore, there are sometimes when somebody is, maybe they can get on bail initially, but then when the charge is filed, they have to go back in and do that. Have you noticed this, or you have any data on that?
I would agree. That is something we notice. I think in Tulsa, they do a bond docket that's very successful in kind of to what you're speaking of, and allows people to be charged and set a bond at a much faster rate than here.
Okay. And then you mentioned that you have partner with services and things like that, and I appreciate your point about not having burdensome requirements. You feel like the data supports the fact that that improves, or at least it does not denigrate public safety, and that it doesn't make it more difficult for people to return to court. But are there some instances in which somebody getting out where you might maybe be a little bit maybe more insistent than other times? Like I'm thinking of somebody who is brought in on a drug charge or something like that about getting treatment or things like that. What are you able to do to help encourage people to seek treatment if they're in those kind of situations?
Yeah, I think obviously we always want to encourage them to go into treatment. And then we also, during our intake, really want to figure out if they have a mental health or drug abuse, and really try to get to what the core issue is of that. And then we always just recommend them. We always want to send them especially to like the diversion hub. We'll send them there once they're released, and we try to get them there within like 24 to 48 hours that they're released. And generally that has helped, I think, just having them get there within a day. And with the diversions hubs, it's heading up a plan. And then that, yeah.
Yeah, I would say on top of that, so about 82% of all of the clients identified at least have one need besides being bailed out of custody. So that means when they get out of custody, they need support with something. Most commonly, that is mental health, housing, and transportation. We are able to help with those, that transportation and court reminders, which is a huge help in general. But for those who are needing additional help, we do advocate for them and hand them off to those organizations that are available if needed. But we do what we can, but we do feel as an organization that it's really up to them if they're ready for that.
Okay, and then lastly, are you mostly looking at people that are on kind of, I mean, sometimes it's, let's say, low-level offenses or things like that, or are you, bailing out people that are, up on a murder one charge? Because that's a whole lot more expensive, and your money's going to be tied up a long time, right, on that one.
Yeah, most of our determinations are case by case, but on average, we take referrals for bond amounts that are $5,000 and under, the entire amount. People who don't have any holds or warrants in other cities or counties, obviously, because that wouldn't work for our revolving fund, and people with minimal FTAs.
Okay, and I forgot, I do have one more, sorry, and that is, it's come to my attention that sometimes people post-adjudication owe fines and fees and things of this nature, and they can be compelled to come back to court monthly until they pay that off. And of course, sometimes if they miss, then a warrant's issued for FTA. Do you all get involved at that level, or is that kind of past your scope that you get involved in?
Yeah, so I guess so even like with our regular clients, if they miss court and there's an FTA, we'll always try to communicate with them to get them back to court within like a few days and figure out what was the reason that they missed court to kind of address it. And then generally we'll stay in touch with clients, but we won't do much after their case is closed, other than, we'll help them set up a payment plan if they need to, or send them to their diversion hubs and they help set up payment plans. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Trustee Alval? Very good. Trustee Brown?
You may have answered this. What portion of your clients result in a forfeiture of some sort?
Yeah, so on average, our clients appear to court 87% of the time so far is what our most current rate is. So yeah, about 13%.
Other questions or comments? Thank you. No. Thank you for coming down. And that will, is there a motion to receive the presentation?
So moved.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Tommy Johnson,
Yes.
Loretta Radford, Sue Ann Arnold, Chad Alexander,
Yes.
Ben Brown,
Yes.
Kevin Calvi,
Yes.
M.T. Berry,
Yes.
Joe Alba,
Yes, ma'am.
Jim Couch.
Yes.
9-0.
Thank you. Item 9 is to consider and accept Oklahoma County Criminal Justice Authority Annual Financial Report for the year ended June 30th, 2020. And I believe Mike Gibson is here.
Thank you, everybody. Glad to be here. And I am going to give a brief presentation on the results of our audit for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2020. Make that specifically known that that's the fiscal year before the authority began operations of the detention center. And so our audit was resulted in an unmodified opinion, a clean opinion, which is what the authority strives for, and means that the financial statements are fairly presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. The audit is performed in accordance with government auditing standards, and as such, we do perform tests and evaluations of the authority's internal controls over financial reporting and also compliance with laws, regulations, contracts, etc. Not that there were a significant amount of those things in the fiscal year 2020, but we did have some recommendations on some improvements in internal controls that the authority is going to be recommending or is going to be implementing for the subsequent fiscal years, and those are included in our report. We did not report any instances of noncompliance with laws, regulations that could have had a material impact on the financial statements had there been any such noncompliance. And I want to say thank you, especially to Mark McCubbin and his team for working with us very closely throughout the entire process. It's a first ever audit, and so those posed some challenges on both sides. And I thought we worked well together, and appreciated all the cooperation we got throughout the entire process. And I'd be glad to answer any questions that the trustees might have about the audit.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson. Are there any questions for Mr. Gibson?
Yes. A point of clarification, if I might, Mr. Chairman. Now, did I understand you to say this is the first ever audit
Of the authority,
of
yes.
the authority?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you say the authority, does that include the jail also?
Well, the jail was not part, the jail trust, the jail had not been transferred over during this period of the audit. Right. This period of the audit, essentially for all intents and purposes, covered from the date the authority was created in May of 19 through June 30, 2020. So.
And the next one's coming.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right. Is there a motion to accept accept the report? Motion. Second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Alexander. Please call the roll.
Tommy Johnson,
Yes.
Loretta Radford, Sue Ann Arnold, Chad Alexander,
Yes.
Ben Brown,
Yes.
Kevin Calvi,
Yes.
M.T. Berry,
Yes.
Joe Alba,
Yes, ma'am.
Jim Couch.
Yes.
9-0.
Thank you.
Next up is the report from our Chief Executive Officer, Greg Williams.
Yeah, thank you. I'll start off with the count. As of 8 o'clock this morning, the total count of the detention center was 1,703. 203 of those have JNSs that have been submitted for the Department of Corrections. Our average daily population for October was 1,845. In October, the jail booked in 1,986 individuals and released 1,931 for a total of 3,936 bookings and releases. So it was a busy month. That's an average of about 127 people a day, 64 coming in, 63 going out. 73% of the people booked in October had been in the jail in the past. The lowest population for October was 1,794, and the highest count that we had was 1,908. The number of arrestees on medication, and again, what I did was I just took this morning's count, took the booking out of that, which was 21, so just divided the number of people on medication by that number, so it's not real scientific, but it gives you an idea of basically the number of people at any given point that are in the jail on medication. And that was 1,105. Approximately 66% of the population this morning was under some sort of medication. The number of medications distributed was 2,641 for the day. The number of arrestees on psychotropic medications was 812, which is representative of about 48% of the population. A COVID report, as of this morning, 77 employees have been tested since June 29th of 21, and with only one positive test in the last 30 days. Currently, we have one person out on COVID. Not all the employees are tested at the jail. A lot of those are tested off-site, so that would be how that would happen. The detainees, updated through Friday, November the 12th. The past 7 days, November the 6th through November the 12th, we had tested 168 people, and one of those tests came back positive. Over the past 30 days between October the 14th and November the 12th, we tested 707 detainees, and 3 of those tests came back positive. Since July 2020, we've tested 13,389 detainees, and 516 of those have been positive. Staffing and recruitment, as of Friday, November the 12th, we had 353 employees, which is the highest number of employees that we've had since we took over the jail. We've had 18 employees separated in the last 30 days. 12 of those were part-time resignations, 5 part-time resignations, and 1 full-time termination. We had 14 cadets complete the academy on October the 14th, and we have 9 cadets that are expected to start the academy on November the 18th. We're in the process of expanding our basic training academy from 3 weeks to 4 weeks. That'll give us a little bit more time to do training in areas such as transportation, hospital security, application of restraints, verbal de-escalation, the use of applicable jail tracker, which is our offender management system that's up and running. We'll implement that training as part of basic, along with some other things. It'll give us more time to do scenarios and mental health training and some things that we already do, but we can expand those training opportunities. Recruitment is still a continuing effort for us. We have a staff person that does that full time, and our recruitment numbers are good. But getting qualified applicants that can pass the background and are really the kind of people that we're looking for is still quite a challenge. I'll give you a little update on our bed bugs. We continue to take an aggressive action with the extermination of bed bugs at the center. We've partnered with Orkin and with Natural Solutions Plus. In this effort, we continue to spray mattresses before they're moved or before they're reissued. We spray all the cells and adjoining cells. Anytime a person says that they have seen them or have been infected by them, then we will spray their cell, all their clothing, and all the adjacent cells as well. We continue the mass spraying, from the top of the jail to the bottom of the jail. We're in the process basically of spraying every area on every floor. And we started on 2, and we've done 2, 4, and 6, and we expect to get 8, 10, and 12, 13 done in the oncoming weeks. We do spray our intake and booking area every week. That's a high traffic area, so we do spray it every week. The juveniles were all moved out of Pawnee County, so we have ended that contract. That was done on November the 1st, and I want to express my appreciation to the sheriff and his staff, as well as the staff at the Oklahoma City Juvenile Detention Center. They partnered with us on that move, and it went without incident. The fire panel at the detention center has not worked in a number of years. When we took over, it was red tagged, and we got it turned into a yellow tag as of October the 4th. A red tag means it's dysfunctional, it doesn't operate. Yellow tag means it's operational with some deficiencies. Right now we have one panel that's not fully operational or not fully working, and the Johnson Controls, who does that work for us, has ordered those parts, so we're waiting on those parts to come in. Hopefully that system will be totally green tagged very soon, which would be a big help for us and something that hasn't happened in a very long time. Once that is done, then we'll have a company come in to test every smoke detector in the system. with smoke. So the system says it's operational, but we will actually get a machine to test every smoke detector in the jail, which is several thousand of them. So that'll take a number of weeks to get that completed, but that's really the next step. When we entered into a contract with Summit, we put in the contract that they would set aside $120,000 over a 3-year period for upcoming repairs and, to keep the equipment operational and to buy new trays and to buy things as they break or need repairs. Right now, there's about $35,000 in that account, and I have approved them to spend about $13,000 this week or next week to buy some equipment and get some things repaired. We're going to buy some prep tables and some wheels for the bread racks and baking racks and utility carts. We bought about 300 new rubber food trays that we'll use on the mental health and medical floor. They're not hard. They're very flexible and rubber. They help us get out of the styrofoam that we currently use on those floors. Again, we'll have 2 new ingredient bins and 2 utility carts and repair a couple slicers, but that'll be about, we estimate about $13,000, but that's in our budget, and that's really Summit will pay for that with the money that they've set aside as contractual. That ends my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Williams? Hearing none, is there a motion to receive his report?
So moved.
Is there a motion? And a second? Please call the roll.
Johnson,
Yes.
Loretta Radford,
Yes.
Sue Ann Arnold, Chad Alexander,
Yes.
Ben Brown,
Yes.
Kevin Calvey,
Yes.
M.T. Berry,
Yes.
Joe Alba,
Yes, ma'am.
Jim Couch.
Yes.
9-0.
Thank you. Item 11 is to consider and approve entering into proposed executive session regarding the following stated to the Oklahoma County Criminal Justice Authority as authorized by 25 Oklahoma statutes. 2011, Section 304B4 for the purpose of confidential communications between a public body and its attorney concerning and pending investigation, claim, or action. If the public body, with the advice of the attorney, determines that disclosure will seriously impair the ability of the public body to process the claim or conduct a pending investigation, litigation, or proceeding in the public interest. Which advice of the attorneys is hereby given, and consider and approve determination that disclosure regarding those matters will seriously impair the ability of a public body to proceed the claim or conduct. The proceeding filed so this will be about a proceeding filed in Oklahoma District Court, Oklahoma County District Court of September 28th, 2021, entitled Application of David Prater, District Attorney, requesting an order directing their grand jury having jurisdiction in Oklahoma County be convened. GJ 2021-1. And B, a complaint filed in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Oklahoma on November 2nd, 2021, entitled Lee Foreman Jr., Daniel Hedrick, and Joseph Mitchell, and John Basco plaintiffs versus Oklahoma County Sheriff, Oklahoma County Criminal Justice Authority, Board of County Commissioners for Oklahoma County, Christian Charles Miles, Gregory Cornell Butler Jr. Is there a motion to go into executive session? Second?
Second.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I recommend that the motion be to approve item 11, A and B.
Okay. Is that your motion? Okay, that's the motion.
Second.
Call the roll.
Tommy Johnson,
Yes.
Loretta Radford, Sue Ann Arnold, Chad Alexander,
Yes.
Ben Brown,
Yes.
Kevin Calvey,
Yes.
M.T. Berry,
Yes.
Joe Alba,
Yes, ma'am.
Jim Couch.
Yes, we are in executive session. 12 is to consider leaving executive session.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion second to leave executive session. Please call the roll.
Tommy Johnson,
Yes.
Loretta Radford,
Yes.
Sue Ann Arnold, Chad Alexander,
Yes.
Ben Brown,
Yes.
Kevin Calvey,
Yes.
M.T. Berry,
Yes.
Joe Alba,
Yes, ma'am.
Jim Couch.
Yes.
9-0.
There's no action needed on item 13. Item 14 is an item for adjournment. With no other business, I take a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Please call the roll.
Tommy Johnson,
Yes.
Loretta Radford,
Yes.
Sue Ann Arnold, Chad Alexander,
Yes.
Ben Brown,
Yes.
Kevin Calvey,
Yes.
M.T. Berry,
Yes.
Joe Alba,
Yes, ma'am.
Jim Couch.
Yes.
9-0.
We are adjourned.
Good job, Ben.